political parties and independent candidates have up until 9 p.m. to submit candidate lists to the Electoral Commission. That is, if they want to contest in the upcoming elections. Political parties will have to hand in these lists amid uncertainty of whether elections will go ahead in October or not. Our reporter Mbali Thethani is following that story very closely, and she joins us now in studio. Mbali, good to have you on the Daytime Update once again. So we see the Democratic Alliance, they're up and running, already having announced their candidates. But clearly this is not the case with some of the parties. With the African National Congress, for example, not a lot of joy there as far as the lists are concerned.
Well, you're certainly right, Tammy. It is a big day today for all political parties. They have until 9 o'clock this evening to, of course, submit those lists. And we know that initially they were expected to send the lists by 5 p.m. tonight. And just a bit earlier on, speaking to the IEC themselves, when I asked them, why is it that, they've extended this deadline? And you'd know that because of COVID-19, there has been a number of challenges in terms of trying to get parties to select those various candidates. We've even seen them also complaining, saying that they can't hold BGMs where they can come together and actually hold these, meetings with those branch representatives. But of course, because they've listened to some of those parties, they've extended that deadline to at least 9 o'clock. And when it comes to the issues around choosing those candidates and choosing those people that need to be on that ballot paper, we know that for now, elections are expected to take place only on the 27th of October, provided the outcome of the Constitutional Court. So we know that for now, Tammy, those parties have until at least 9 o'clock to submit those names. And when you look at the likes of other parties, we know that Good yesterday, they made that announcement, in terms of who their mayoral candidate is for the city of Cape Town. We've also seen just a few moments ago, the likes of the DA, they've also made that announcement. But, Tammy, this happens at a time where just yesterday, we saw a number of, the ANC once more coming to the fore. We know that they say that they have at least 10,000 candidates, to submit those names. And yesterday, when covering stories, we saw a march taking place just outside Luthuli House, where the branches, also a sub-region in the northwest, complaining, saying that those names on their candidate lists from the IPC in the northwest, they have been altered. And this is the same in terms of what you see from Mpumalanga. So while the ANC has met and they are meeting still in that NEC meeting, they still have, those issues to deal with when it comes to the names which have been submitted.
It really, though, has been a challenging time for political parties. Do they move ahead as if October is the deadline, or do they not? How has that level of uncertainty actually affected the parties and their planning? Did many foreshadow and foresee that this could be the circumstance and the situation that they find themselves in?
Well, Tammy, you'd remember that even when these political parties made submissions to the IEC and to that Museneke inquiry, we saw a number of them saying that, the IEC says that, they will go ahead with the elections and they will plan, and this is part of their timetable. And, the IEC has said on numerous occasions that despite this issue at the Constitutional Court, we still need to go ahead in terms of the IEC's timetable and plan for the local government elections. But you've seen, some political parties saying that, we can't have any physical meetings because, because of lockdown regulations, you're only allowed to have 50 people, meeting inside one room. And that's the maximum amount of people that you can have. But at the same time, when you look at the submissions which have also been made by the ANC to the Constitutional Court on Friday, something that they were citing is the issue around them saying that, we have a number of people to select and to put on those lists. But at the same time, Tammy, one question I also asked to the IEC, which is quite important, is that should the Constitutional Court rule in their favor, what's going to happen to this process? Because these parties have been forced now to make these, candidates lists at a very quick pace. So what will happen to this process? And they have said that, should the Constitutional Court rule in their favor, and then we see these elections take place in February next year, this is something that they will have to reopen, and it will have, unfortunately, to start from scratch.
So this might not actually even be the final candidates list, depending on whatever the outcome is from the Constitutional Court and those hearings. They could alter, they could change.
There's a high possibility that it could change, but there's also a high possibility that we could have elections on the 27th of October. So they have to tread carefully here. And this is why, right now, instead of us looking at elections and, or rather that candidate list deadline being at 5 o'clock, it has been extended to 9 o'clock to just allow political parties just a bit of more time to make those submissions, because it's something that they didn't really anticipate because of this challenge we see at the Constitutional Court.
And what are the numbers looking like as far as submissions are concerned, as well as perhaps even the number of candidates that have been submitted?
Well, Tammy, we do know that at least 97 political parties have made, those submissions. And, of course, 353 of the independent candidates have also made that submission. So, for now, looking at the last statement that was sent through by the IEC, this is what we have on paper.
Mbali Thethani, thank you very much once again.
All right.
That's Mbali Thethani keeping us abreast there on the latest developments regarding the IEC. And we do know that that deadline has now been extended from 5 p.m. this afternoon to 9 p.m. this evening, giving the parties a little bit more breathing room. I don't know how much more they can achieve in the odd 4 hours or so. But hopefully that will go a long way in making sure that those lists are in there and submitted. And just a reminder, a little bit later on this afternoon, in our 2 o'clock hour, around about 2:30, we'll be speaking to some of the smaller parties or some of the other parties on the process, how it's unfolding, and their sentiments.